putain, la chaleur.
Tu te souviens quand on s'est rencontrés? Tu te rappelles où on était? C'était beau.
Vous avez donc emmené Isabelle Huppert, vous avez emmené Gérard Depardieu au cœur de la vallée de la mort.
Isabelle and Gérard out to the Valley of Death in the States.
Vous est apparu,
and that is where your film appeared to you.
Oui, en effet, le décor a été le premier élément déclencheur.
The setting was the first trigger for the project.
Pourquoi ce décor-là?
Ici est passé des choses un peu troublantes, qui ont eu des résonances assez prégnantes sur la suite des événements.
Which impacted the rest of the story. And when I came home from a trip there, well, the story chose me, given what I'd experienced when I was out there. So I was very open to the emotions which I had experienced when I was out there, and I wrote the story thinking about Isabelle.
Une espèce de pudeur généralisée qui me suit depuis plusieurs années fait que j'ai beaucoup de mal
shy,
I
find it difficult to really let go of things and indulge in my emotions. So it took me some time before I contacted Gérard for reasons not to contact him. And then once I decided to face up to the reality of things, well, Gérard was the man.
L'élément finalement qui faisait résonance totalement avec ce qui était arrivé dans la vallée de la mort.
With what I'd experienced in the Valley of Death. It was just obvious to me that he had to be the one.
Ce film, ce rapport à la mort,
question about
cet aspect fantastique même du film vous a intéressé,
a touch of the fantastic.
Non, le fantastique m'a intéressé beaucoup.
Well, of course I'm interested in the spiritual side of things, but what I like most of all is what he's just said.
C'est quelqu'un, c'est un homme.
This is a man, a director, who knows what he's doing. He's got the budget. He knows what he wants to do. He doesn't need to explain things, because if someone tries to explain a film to me, then I leave immediately. I don't like to look at the character's psychology. I don't like people saying A plus B goes in the column on the left. I don't want the explanations. I like to watch and listen to my partner. I like watching her desires, her weaknesses, what she wants. What struck me the most with Guillaume Nicloux and with Isabelle, because Isabelle made some suggestions, Guillaume decided to accept or not, but there was never any conflict. I was thrilled for him not to say anything. Or he'd smile from time to time, or he'd laugh, because we did laugh a lot together.
Mais en général, direction d'acteur,
because we met a whole series of people that made us laugh.
Gérard, le cinéma vous a réunis tous les deux, Isabelle
Cinema
et
brought
vous,
the two of you together
devant la caméra de
some
Maurice Pialat,
35 years ago in front of Maurice Pialat's camera, but your lives have gone on separate ways. How was it to get back with Isabelle, to work together on a film?
Comment vous l'avez trouvée?
Was she the same as when you left her? She was the same. 35 years ago, you weren't there.
On est passé d'ailleurs Loulou en dernier.
But I think Loulou was screened at the film festival on the last day, but there weren't very many people watching the film.
Voilà, des photocalls.
There was a photocall for Loulou. That was a wonderful film. And now, some 35 years later, Guillaume has got us together again. The only difference is that Isabelle is more fragile now than she was back then, but by the same token, she's a bit more of a warrior than she was. And she is just the essence of woman. She's very courageous. And she's very talented. So there's absolutely no problem. And as far as Guillaume's concerned, I thought he was going to be a lover, but he's a friend. Let's see what happens. But the amazing thing is the backdrop, the heat, which is so invasive, but it doesn't impede the emotions we felt. The interesting thing in the Valley of Love is that there are so many tourists, Italians, Belgians, French people. You're never on your own in the Valley of Love. in none of the parks can you ever be on your own. But we were just together because of that letter. We followed the instructions and it was very touching. And Guillaume Nicloux, the man, and his crew, because of Sylvie Pialat, Olivier Rado, and the entire crew. Well, it's much easier when the team is smaller, and he had a small team. We had to be ourselves. I'm becoming more and more myself every day because there's no point in telling stories that are absolutely rubbish. So I have to be myself. And how did you find Gérard? Was he true to himself? Yes, we are true to ourselves because in the film we have the same names. I'm Isabelle, he's Gérard, and we are actors in the film. And we have a conversation about day-to-day things, natural things. And it was great to get back to him. He's exactly as he was back in the Loulou days.
Avec un immense plaisir.
And it was a thrill to work together again. Did you miss one another? Yes, I missed her. But as I could see her all over the place, she's absolutely everywhere. And I had other things, other events. As an actor, but I think people know me more around the world because I peed in an aircraft once rather than being an actor.
Et je ressens ça sur la planète, c'est formidable.
It's great to be back together. I missed Isabelle's fragility, her physical fragility. The wonderful thing is this tiny little woman whom you can protect. She doesn't need protecting because she can slip away in between your hands.
Death Valley is the lowest place in North America, and it's the hottest place in the world. Is that hell? Did you think about a descent into hell when making your film? That's a very Christian dimension. I was thinking of Orpheus, for example, and others. Did you draw on mythology in this film?
Vous avez été dans la vallée de la mort?
Have you ever been to Death Valley?
C'est toujours plus évident d'en parler avec
It's easier to talk to someone who's actually been to Death Valley.
C'est quelque chose d'assez étonnant.
It's quite surprising.
Si on veut bien se laisser porter par le lieu et si on veut bien
you just allow yourself to be carried away and swept away by the sight.
Dans la vie quotidienne.
And you set aside your daily existence. These are places that are incredibly powerful because of the climate, because of the weather. This all has an impact on our emotions, on our metabolism. And you end up in a state which is different from your state in daily life. And if you're happy to lose yourself in these very strange, odd places which are so different from your daily existence, then you end up in a state of mind and with ideas which can be quite traumatic, but in the good sense of the word. In other words, you can be taken into uncharted lands, so to speak. You can plunge into certain depths which will be very enriching. In countries like Mexico or places where there are jungles, these places can become absolutely hellish. Then you have a desert, but when you have a desert landscape, people appear more like saints. Death Valley is a form of initiation, and you can't do anything about the temperature. You just have to try to survive. It's a place where you struggle to survive. You have to have quite an intense inner life.
Le fait que les personnages s'appellent Gérard et Isabelle.
Characters are called Gérard and Isabelle in the film. You are both actors, known actors. You sign an autograph. This is a film which addresses many topics, including mourning. You have experienced that personally. Is it difficult to play that kind of a part? Does it make you remember many things you experienced? Was it more painful to play this character than in other films?
No, ce n'est pas plus difficile.
It was no more difficult. It goes without saying.
Mais moi, je n'oserais pas me servir du deuil de Guillaume, par exemple.
Well, for example, I can't use Guillaume's mourning, but what I can understand is mourning for a child.
Isabelle n'a plus revu depuis l'âge de 7 ans.
A child Isabelle hasn't seen since he was 7, and in my case, since he was 16.
Le poids de ces deux lettres.
Imagine the burden for these two people. Imagine that burden when they meet together again. You don't have to look for these things within yourself. You just have to see the interplay between the two characters. I was an actor who had practically retired in that film. Isabelle is almost reborn in the film. She draws great strength from the experience. And in the film, it's a bit like me. I play the part of someone who's almost become a spectator. There's something I loved in the film and I found most beautiful. It's when they come together and they kiss. That's quite magnificent, because that's what really happens in life when you've lived with someone. Suddenly, they kiss, and that kiss becomes essential. And then he comes back as well. That's what really moved me. You don't need to reminisce. The fact that they kissed again was magnificent. What about the kiss with Gérard? Did you find it magnificent too?
Ils vont s'embrasser, mais ils s'embrassent pas.
They are about to kiss and then they don't kiss. But after we did.
Non, mais je précisais.
Isabelle, did you want to add something? No, I just wanted to specify.
Ils retrouvent, oui, des sensations, des hésitations,
certain feelings are rekindled. It's almost as though they were meeting for the first time.
Très longue absence.
After this very long absence, when they come together again, it's as though they'd known each other forever, yet they were meeting for the first time. They relive all these stages of their initial meeting. And they have to cope with this request. They cope in different ways. She firmly believes in this. He doesn't really. He's very skeptical. Gérard is extremely skeptical in the film, but she really believes that this will happen. And that's what she came for. She is looking for that in Death Valley. She firmly believes that things will actually happen. And this belief then is transferred to Gérard. She gives him this belief as a sort of a gift, a blessing, and that seals the relationship forevermore. He's very skeptical, and then...
Je suis Michael, c'est moi, ton fils. Je suis l'enfant que tu as mis au monde. Et je suis mort. Je suis mort et toi, tu es vivante. Je me suis donné la mort, c'était prévu. Et je vais revenir, je te demande d'être présent dans la vallée de la mort le 12 novembre 2014.
Arrête-toi, arrête-toi.
Was it si singulier pour vous? Was it so special for you? You seem very mourning, very moved by the film. Yes, I was very moved by the script by Isabelle. Hello, Isabelle. Why is it so easy for you to work together?
Parce qu'il est bien.
Because he's good.
Parce que je suis bien.
And I'm good too.
On est bien même quand on est bien ensemble. Ouais.
No, we do work well together. It's easy. We know each other well, and that's it. It's obvious. And we're sort of carried away by by Guillaume's directing and by a subject, by a script. Impalpable. No, there's something very mysterious, majestic, painful,
d'un peu effrayant aussi. On est dans un décor très particulier.
Frightening, a very particular backdrop. Who's like a character in the film.
En dehors du monde, sur une autre planète.
Almost sort of out of the world, on a different planet.
Chance to start